What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Still knocking out a bunch of videos on the channel, 3 videos a week. So if you guys are interested in more bass fishing content, please make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on all of those videos. Okay, so I got my hands full here. I'm doing a little packing. We are getting ready for the Major League Fishing Team Series. So this is the Heritage Cup, and it's a pretty fun event. You know, we got to fish a couple of these last year. They were new last year, the first 2-man team series events. And you know, if you guys know me, you know the channel. Spencer and I were able to win the first event ever on the 2-man team series, and we're teamed up again. So Spencer and I are back in action next week in Wisconsin. So we are headed to Minocqua, Wisconsin, and I'm trying to get all my tackle packed up. So this is going to be an interesting event. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a preview and show you guys some of the stuff that I'm packing, the rods I'm rigging, all that sort of stuff, and kind of set the scene on what's going to go down next week for the Team Series event. Okay, so maybe you guys haven't heard of the Team Series from Major League Fishing. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I'm just going to give you a quick little rundown on how the event goes and you know, the whole process behind it. So basically throughout our entire regular season on the Bass Pro Tour, so basically this event that we're fishing is from the first half of the Bass Pro Tour season. So you take events 1, 2, 3, okay? And the point standings after those 3 events created the captains. So the top 24 in the points became captains, and they got to choose any other angler of their choice, you know, starting with whoever was leading angler of the year all the way down to 24th. And you could pick, you know, the number 1 guy could pick the number 2 guy. It doesn't have to be, you know, a non-captain that you pick. So basically you go down in order and you draft your teammate. For me, you know, I got to choose this one. I drafted Spencer, so Spencer and I are teamed up again. And once you have your team compiled, you basically get seeded. So you take, let's just, I'm trying to find a way to explain this. Basically, you get seeded based on the 2 anglers' current Angler of the Year standings. So say I was in 3rd place at the time of the draft, and I drafted Spencer, and he was in 10th place in the standings. So you would take 3 plus 10, that equals 13. That was our total Angler of the Year rank. And then that ranks you against all the other teams. So the lowest number will be seed 1, seed 2, seed 3, all the way down to 24, which would be the highest combined AOI title total. Okay, so that creates the seeding, and then those teams are split into 2 groups. So if you guys followed the first event on the St. Clair River, Port Huron, that was the 12 teams, the first half of those 24 teams. And this event next week is going to be the second half of those 24 teams. So 12 teams are going to be there in Minocqua, Wisconsin. Obviously, we are one of those. And I'm excited to get up there. Now, if you guys are new to the team series, the cool part about this whole event is the unknown. We have no idea where we're going to be fishing. We know the town. They tell us to be here, be in this place at this time, and that's all we really know. We're not allowed to do any research, no map study, nothing of the surrounding area. 60 miles from the host city, we are not allowed to fish, look at, acquire any information, nothing. So I honestly don't even know any lakes in that area, the name of the lakes, let alone what they look like, any of that. So it's really fun as far as fishing it, but what makes it really challenging is trying to pack the tackle for those lakes, because you really have no idea what you're getting into. Now, we kind of have a general idea. We're headed to northern Wisconsin. It's the, you know, late September, mid-September, late summer, and you have a pretty good idea that it's either going to be a smallmouth lake or a shallow largemouth lake. So that kind of helps narrow down some of the tackle preparation here, you know, knowing that generally northern largemouth are going to be fairly simple. We're either going to be fishing boat docks, we're going to be fishing, you know, some shallow grass, or, you know, maybe winding in a little bit of submerged grass. So that kind of helps narrow that things down. And then the smallmouth side of things, you know, I love fishing for smallmouth. So I'm kind of hoping that it's more of a smallmouth driven event, but you never really know till you get there, till you get out on the water and break it down in real time. And that's what's really cool about even watching them for you guys. And I watch as much as I can of the events that I'm not fishing, because it's really cool to see the guys break down the fishery in real time while the tournament's going on, working together, trying to figure out all that stuff. So that's kind of what we're looking for here this week. I'm personally hoping it's a smallmouth event so Spencer and I can catch a few brown ones and figure it out as the tournament goes on. But man, you know, I'm honestly trying to keep my tackle pretty simple for this event. I'm not packing a whole ton of stuff. You can see I really don't have that many rods. This is one of probably the least amount of rods that I've ever had rigged up prior to an event. I think I only got maybe, what do I got, 12 casting rods and 5 spinning rods. That's all I'm bringing. I'm gonna keep it simple. Like I said, generally on these fisheries, we know the baits that are gonna get the job done, and it's all about just finding where those fish are. So tackle is gonna be pretty simple. You know, for me, I'm taking a couple small little crankbaits, you know, maybe a little square bill if a situation arises. I'm taking some top waters just in case, you know, we can get on a top water bait, maybe a moving top water bait, kind of like a whopper plopper or a buzz bait, and then more of a walking style top water. I'm gonna have one of each of those rigged up. Like I said, small little crankbait, the Bill Lewis ATV 1.0, excellent little tiny crankbait, allow you to just cover a bunch of water. And then obviously the staples that I love throwing, a couple jerk baits, a couple chatterbaits, you know, a dock fishing jig, maybe a Texas rig to flip around in some grass, and obviously a couple wacky rig Senkos, and you're good to go for all of your largemouth fishing right there. And then, you know, the smallmouth, we're gonna keep it pretty simple. Tried and true smallmouth baits, drop shot, shad shaped worm, maybe the new fuzzy nut, and Ned rig, small swim bait, jerk bait for the smallmouth. And we know that they're gonna eat one of those baits somewhere in the whatever lake that we end up. So I'm really excited about this event. I got my hands full packing here. You know, we're heading up north, so of course I've got to pack all sorts of different weather gear. This cool little bag from Striker allows me to do that and keep everything organized. But I mean, I got a cold weather rain suit, my Striker Denali suit in there, just because we're heading to Wisconsin. You never know what the weather may be like. It may be cold, it may be warm. I got my regular Vortex rain suit in there. I got some boots, I got some gloves, some hats. The weather, you never really know what you're getting into. So you got to pack all of that. And you know, that's one of the hard parts about the team series is just, you know, I always have my boat so organized. I know where everything is, you know, my tools, my scissors, super glue, sunglasses, cleaning rags, rain gear. I know where all that stuff is organized in my boat when we go to a tournament, but these events, I've got to pack all of that and reorganize it into a strange boat the night before the tournament. So it just adds a new level of really fun to it. You know, it's exciting to get to do that. But that's what we're doing here today, getting ready for the team series. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm curious if you guys are excited to watch this event. Make sure to drop it in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the team series and if you're excited to watch this one. So the event starts on Sunday. That'll be day 1 of competition. Spencer and I actually fish day 2 of competition, which will be Monday. So if you guys want to tune in, watch us go catch some bass, hopefully live on Major League Fishing. We will be live on Monday. So appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Leave me those likes and comments down below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.